Sure, so I'm originally from Switzerland, and that's where I grew up, and I went to study law in Switzerland, and then I moved to the Netherlands to do my master's in law, in international law. And I always loved traveling, so I lived actually in a few different countries. I was living in the UK for a while, and in Denmark, in the US, and now I'm here in Bali. It's very difficult to describe, but I feel different in Bali than I feel anywhere else. And I have traveled to so many different places and countries, and I have not come across any that makes me feel as home and as comfortable as I feel in Bali. Yeah, and then I love vegan and vegetarian food. It's very easy to find here. I also feel like there's a community of like-minded people who try to start their own business or who run their own business. So it's very inspiring to come here, and like it makes me feel brave enough to start my own thing, which maybe in Europe I wouldn't dare to do as much, because in Europe it feels like people are kind of judging each other sometimes. Here it feels very free. Day after day, I just became more unhappy. Like, it was such a struggle for me to get up in the morning, go to the office. I felt that my work was not purposeful. It didn't feel like fulfilling to me at all. And it was just very hard to do something that's not in line with my values every single day of the week. I felt like I'm wasting my time, and so I started this inner process of trying to come up with ideas. What could I do that would make me feel more happy? How could I live more in line with my truth and my purpose? And I started to like brainstorm different ideas. Like, I was thinking, should I do something? Should I teach myself about graphic design, or should I like create my own clothing line? Like, I had many different ideas. Pay attention to in the brands that I work with. So like ethical production or fair trade production means that all employees or all humans that are involved in the supply chain or in the production chain of making products, that they are working in safe environments, that they are paid a fair living wage, that they are not working overtime. It's just about the working conditions, because in many, especially Asian countries, where a lot of garment workers are based, the working conditions are just terrifying. So I think it's very important that there's more awareness about these issues. So now I'm in the process of contacting brands. Like, I already work with some of them, which is really nice, and I feel like it can really grow into something. And besides just being an online shop, I also want to create like a community where like people who care about like being like conscious consumers, where they can exchange and like share tips maybe on like a sustainable lifestyle and so on. So yeah, that's the idea. It just shows how the people who are making our clothes, how they are treated, and there's so much abuse going on, so many human rights violations happening in that industry, that I was just very passionate about trying to make a difference. And one other thing is that I personally stopped eating meat when I was 4, so like 25 years ago I stopped eating meat. I always felt super connected to animals. I always saw them like equal to humans. I always considered them my friends. So like vegetarian or vegan lifestyle is also very important to me. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I'm trying to be as ethical and sustainable as I can, and I'm trying to inspire others to do the same. I think I tend to be an empathetic person and emotional person, and I can easily relate to others in like an emotional way. So whenever I see on the news, on media, on TV, even in reality, if I see things like animal cruelty happening in front of my eyes, I have to speak up. I cannot stay quiet because it just personally upsets me so much. The same goes like when I see people being mistreated, I try to speak up. I try to have conversations with people to explain why this kind of mistreatment is unacceptable and wrong. And yeah, there wasn't like anything specific that happened. I wouldn't say that, but it's just I have a strong concept for justice and like treating others with respect. I think that's like, for me, that's like the main purpose in life, is to be kind, to be humane, to be respectful and fair to other people and animals. And also the planet, because actually coming to Bali last year made me like more aware of plastic pollution. I think I had an understanding of plastic pollution before, but when I came to Bali, I was more in touch with this issue because I saw like there's so many initiatives like beach cleanups, the cafes here and also the shops, they really try to be sustainable, like to avoid plastic. And it just made me think about my own plastic consumption. And I think it's so important that we try to find alternatives and that there's like more shops offering alternative products that are better for the planet. So yeah, it's really about the planet, humans and animals, everything. I would love to also have part of my site to be a platform where people can maybe ask for funding, like a fundraising platform, and also where people can get contacts to people or NGOs that can help them in the process of starting something. So I'm dreaming, that's just my vision right now, to help people more easily create sustainable and ethical companies, because I think that's the future. It's so important that we change our way of consuming as society, because we're struggling with climate change. It's a big issue that needs to be addressed, and just generally pollution and mistreatment of humans, as I mentioned.